You're probably a kind human being, and if you notice an injured or trapped animal on the side of the road, you'd most likely stop to help them. What if that animal was much larger than you and potentially quite dangerous? Would you still risk your safety to help them? For one group of cyclists in Huascar, Spain, they didn't even think twice. 5 cyclists were cycling through heavy torrential rains when they noticed a deer with large antlers struggling to stay afloat in flooded ruins, scared and struggling to stay afloat. The heavy rainfall in some regions of Spain has caused lots of flooding in the area. These cyclists saw the deer that was in distress and they did not hesitate to help out. The animals trapped inside a body of water. Unfortunately, the deer did not have the ability to free themselves from this difficult situation. At that time, Spain was experiencing a sizable amount of heavy rainfall. This caused flooding to take place and left the deer in the story in dire straits. The flood waters had risen to the point where the deer were unable to extricate themselves. If not for these helpful rescuers, we shuddered to think of what might have happened next. The kind and gentle souls who stopped to help animals deserve all of our love and consideration. The cyclists were passing through Huascar, and this rural area had been hit particularly hard by the floodwaters. The deer was trying their very best to escape. The waters had caused the ledge to become slick. The deer was unable to successfully grip the rocks and pull themselves out of the waters. And as the group were passing by the grounds of the ancient ruins, they noticed the panicked deer was trying desperately to make its way out of the water. But the rain kept pouring down, and the sides of the ruins were steep and slippery. The poor terrified deer was starting to become exhausted from trying to make it to higher ground. The cyclists were scared that the deer would become so fatigued and weakened that it wouldn't be able to stand up anymore and it would drown. The water levels were continuing to rise and rise quickly. The group knew they had to jump into action to save the drowning animal, even though its large antlers could injure them in the animal's panicked state. The next time the deer tried its best to make its way up the state bank, 4 of the cyclists took hold of the deer's giant antler. They were beginning to slip down the sides of the bank too, but somehow managed to pull the terrified and exhausted deer up to safety. After realizing that he was finally out of the rising water and able to walk on dry land again, the deer didn't waste any time running away.
Also, if you've not done so already, please subscribe to our channel and click that notification bell to get inspired by these animal stories every day. Now, back to the story.
Despite being eternally grateful, we assume, the deer just went through a shock of a lifetime, so we're not surprised if it wanted to scam or off to be on its own. The cyclists haven't been identified, but they now have a large fan base of animal lovers out there. If not for these cyclists, the deer would have been in a much more challenging position. Animal rescues do not always take place in a timely manner. The cyclists knew that the deer was going to drown, though they could not allow the animal to suffer like this. That's why they stopped and started to assist them. In order to provide the deer with the necessary leverage, they tugged on the antlers. The deer definitely appreciated the support they were able to receive. We cannot even begin to imagine the level of fear that this animal was experiencing at the time. Their life was likely flashing before their eyes. That's what makes this story such a special one. These cyclists went above and beyond to ensure the health and safety of an animal that they had never met before in their lives. This story really resonated with us. It would be wonderful if everyone could be so kind when they encounter animals in need. The world would be a much better place. The cyclists risked their own life to help the deer. They were really careful not to hurt the animal. By the time the deer was rescued, one of the cyclists had been sent tumbling to the ground. The cyclist was okay, however. The deer was also no worse for the wear. The deer was able to walk away from the incident relatively unscathed, and the cyclists continued onward with their trip. It is the sort of rescue that has to be seen to be believed, though. If you are anything like us, you are definitely going to want to check this one out for yourself as soon as possible. We cannot get enough of this clip. The bravery that the cyclist displayed during this pressure situation is exemplary. Hopefully, other listeners are inspired to take the same sort of measures when they find an animal who is experiencing any form of distress. These people prove that there are plenty of unsung heroes in the world who are just as brave but not as well equipped with cool gadgets and superhero skills. These everyday heroes deserve to be talked about and appreciated because their actions can inspire others. I hope you like this video. Please share it and subscribe to our channel. Also press the bell icon to never miss the update from our channel. Thank you.